Well, regarding terrorism, the theoretical understanding, in my opinion, is relevant to a greater extent. I mean that terrorism is a very complicated issue, and without a greater theoretical understanding of its roots, it becomes more problematic to adopt effective measures. I agree in some countries, some policy-making processes lack of precise response to the problems, yes. I think people working in that field should have a previous training or some academic background. Especially for me, I would say to a greater extent. In fact, young generation are required deeper knowledge, a deeper understanding of the phenomenon. And personally speaking, I would say that my academic background and my activity as an analyst for geopolitical journals helps me in this field. Talking about Italy, for now I would unfortunately say that the measures are based on this understanding to a minimum extent. Actually, last October the government established a Commission of Study of Jihadism, which presented its recommendation in the spring. Now the Parliament should start discussing a new anti-terrorism bill on countering youth radicalization and violent extremism. Among the main professional and legal incentives, I would say robust funding and training programs should be granted for the NGOs and also private institutions involved in countering violent extremism. In my opinion, the role of the private sector is critical in implementing the strategies in order to prevent and countering radicalization and terrorism. An example, the French government created a website called Stop Jihadism, but the domain is .gov.france. No young radical would consult a governmental website. Only local imams, social workers and community leaders can effectively deal with it. In my opinion, both the private sector and the non-profit sector can play a role, but the government should put first the no-profit sector. An example comes from the policies related to the refugees. Some cooperative companies offer bad quality services and somehow waste public money. The human rights really influence the effective implementation of the policies. In some cases, the European countries face the restrictions of freedoms and violations of the civil rights. When the rule of law is not respected, the implementation of effective counterterrorism policies is weaker. Well, I think the data protection European framework is good as it is, but the national government should be able to operate freely and use their powers to improve also the national policies in countering terrorism. That means that in some cases they should be able to use the data of the citizens in order to protect the communities.